call this meeting to order. Alicia, roll call.
Mayor Parsons.
Present.
Vice Mayor Lynn
Here.
Commissioner Laura.
Present.
Vasquez. Here.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. If you'd all stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor Brad?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Brad Bennett, and I'm the pastor at First United Methodist Church here in Liberal, and I represent the Liberal Ministerial Alliance. This evening, I invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful planning and outcomes of events and business ventures and infrastructure that's intended for the good of all people in our fair city. We know that you are mindful, as we are, of the tremendous pressures and frequent demands on our commissioners who provide governance among a variety of constituencies in Liberal. We ask that you be present among our commissioners and city staff as they consider proposals and procedures in this meeting. Help them make wise decisions for the good of all citizens who have placed their trust and confidence in their leadership, as well as this good earth we inhabit. Keep us all from short-sightedness and pettiness, and remind us of your long view of life. All glory be to you, loving God. I pray now and always through the same Spirit who is in Jesus Christ, who your Spirit is your Spirit, your sacred breath of justice, love, and peace is forevermore. Amen.
Okay, item number 1 is awards, proclamations, and presentations. I don't think we have any of those tonight. So item number 2, approval of the agenda, and we do have an amended agenda tonight.
So, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, you look on 11F, that, we had that, but it was under a stack of papers, so right after we sent out the agenda, we saw, oops, there's another requisition that needed to go in there. And then on number 13, we combined that item. It's actually 2 different vendors, so they need to be separated into 2 different motions to approve that. And then I'll let Chris, you want to talk about number 14?
Yes, sir. Number 14, A and B, we have 2 requisitions that are over $10,000 that we have invoices for. They are both Motorola Solutions, but since they were separate amounts, I went ahead and separated them into A and B.
I'd like a motion that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? 5-0. Thank you very much. We have minutes from the June 28th regular meeting. Assume everybody's had a chance to look through that.
Make a motion to approve the June 28th, 2022 regular meeting minutes as printed.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Okay, thank you very much. Items from citizens, item number 4.
Mayor Parsons and Commissioners, I'm Roselle Webb, CEO of the Liberal Chamber of Commerce, and I come tonight to tell you that coming soon is our Duck Festival on September 24th. We have reserved the Light Park for that event, and I just wanted to come and invite you all to come and make sure that Light Park is a good place for us to be on that day. We always have such a good turnout at the park, and I have to say that the city is a great help to us at this event. This is a whole town event, one that we can't just do by ourselves, and Brad Beer and Kelly Kirk always help us immensely. The park always looks great thanks to Brad and his crew, And we wouldn't be able to have our ducks swim if it wasn't for Kelly and his fire department. So we appreciate all the things that the city does to help us with this. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Roseanne.
Thank you.
Any other items from citizens? Rita?
This time I'm gonna remember, Mr. Mayor and Councilman, because I usually start talking and forget about the whole thing. Two things. Maybe you need to tell me the revision of the codes before you, this year you're gonna have a revision of some codes. Like, if they need to be demolished, if you have items that need to be demolished, that have been abandoned. It was in tonight's paper.
We are going in, one of the agenda items is to review some old resolutions, that for condemnation, that they've either been, the problem's been abated, or they're no longer a problem, so we need to rescind those resolutions in order for those properties to be sold or transferred. That's what we're gonna do tonight. We're not gonna change the code at all.
Okay. All right. Well, I've been driving around, of course, not just for this new project. I've been coming to the commission meeting for a long time about codes. This seems to be my major thing. On Fifth in New York, it used to be the old health department. When my kids were little and you guys got your shots and things there. It's been empty for years. Now, half a block up between Fifth and Sixth, there is a condemned trailer house that has been there forever. It not only looks bad, but this could be dangerous. You've got something that's been condemned. I don't know who owns anything I bring up tonight, but why is it just keeps sitting there when it's been condemned? It's got all those little tags on it that you guys put on when you condemn something. Then, on 629 North Washington, it's become apartments, and looks to me like the whole thing. And I'm wondering, do you guys actually inspect anything that looks that bad? Do we know what's going on? Because it's just falling apart. Then you go to what I keep coming 6 weeks now. 605, 607 North Calhoun, 6 vehicles. Still there. Nothing has been done. The worst thing I saw is 128 West Hoover. That is a residential area, this house in it. I don't know if it's been abandoned because it's nothing but trees. The whole yard is nothing but trees. It looks to me like there's a little path to the door. It's way past anything that's allowable in the codes. I don't know. Maybe you guys ought to check into it. Maybe it's being kept back for something else. I don't know. And then there's Paul's house. 6 weeks now. I told you guys about this. You went over and you mowed, but you left stiff in the drive, and I kept telling you about it. So when I leave here tonight, I'm gonna stop right over there and use the city thing, because I went out there and I got all the branches except one, broke them, and they're in the trunk of my car. So I'm gonna use the park receptacle out here, and I will unload it. So from now on, all these places I have talked about, if I find this stuff in there, I'm just gonna pick it up, take care of it myself. I offered last time, if anybody needs any mowing, they have no money, can't take care of it, call me. I'll take care of it. Nobody called. And nobody has done anything about it, except went to the city manager's office last week. You showed me a whole bunch of codes. What, 3 pages on each one? A lot of them.
Yeah, so in June, there were 300, the code department issued 334 citations for weeds and grass, 20 for environmental, so that's stuff in the yard or on the porch, mattresses, washing machines, things that aren't supposed to be there. And the report only had one car, but Keith told me that there were more, there was a glitch in the report, so. We figured that in June, they wrote about 13 and a half grass and weed citations a day, almost one environmental a day. There's 24 working days in June, because we had Juneteenth, but, so they're definitely getting after it. It's just, we have a lot of work to do and a lot of catch-up to do, so. But I did share that with Ms. Isaacs when she was in, this week, or last week, I'm sorry.
How many of those did you get taken care of? If
So
you got all
the
that through,
preponderance- Yeah, so the preponderance of those were taken care of. So, we will, that report is evolving, it's the first time they had run it, so, the July report will be much more informative and robust, but.
okay, now, I know I've almost used my 5 minutes, but codes and then the taxes. Taxes are gonna begin, and I knew when you put that long article in there that we couldn't understand that we were getting taxes. Every year, we get about 3 pages of little tiny fine print, people don't pay their taxes. We need the new fire truck, we really need that, and the police need their things too. And I said before, why can't you just collect those taxes and let's use that money? Instead of you upping my taxes, I keep my yard up. Not very many in Liberal do anymore, but I've had a lot of people come by my house this week. Instead of taxing us for keeping up and letting these people get by, why are they not having more taxes collected? Use that money. And again, I suggest once you buy some more lawnmowers, mow the lawns for these people that refuse to. If they won't pay for it, put it on their water bill. Everybody's got to have the water. Find some way to get around there to keep from raising our house taxes. For we are trying, I told you, this place is looking real trashy. You don't have to drive very far to see and know what I'm talking about. So consider finding a way to collect your taxes so you don't have to keep upping ours. That's it.
Okay. Earl?
Well, my name is Earl, and I'm here tonight to represent the 4th of July Committee, and I just want to say some thank yous. I want to thank the Sons of the American Revolution, the Daughters of the American Revolution, Doug Munsell, Claudia and Candy Garcia, Persephone Fuller. These people formed the committee that started to work on the 4th of July parade and the day in the park. I want to thank Brad Beer and the Parks Department. The park was beautiful. The grass couldn't have been any better. Light Park is a gym, and I want to thank Brad and his crew for that and doing the walkthrough to help us know where to put the booths and all that. So thanks, Brad, for all of that. I also want to thank Chief Cutshall. I saw him earlier. There he is. To help lead off the parade and to have all the work that the police department puts in to do the traffic for us during the parade, and you know, they could have been celebrating their 4th of July, but they came out to help us, and so we appreciate that. The street department, Main Street, Candace Avenue was beautiful, and the street department also helped get out the barricades that we needed at all the different locations, and so we appreciate everything that they did. Noon Kiwanis for hanging the flags downtown to make downtown very patriotic on the 4th of July. Rotary for judging the floats. We had 50 clubs, organizations, and individuals who made floats in the parade. And the time that, if you got to see it, you know, some of those people put in a significant amount of time to decorate up their floats and that. And then Chris put a couple of signs on a motorcycle, and he was there too. So there you know, we appreciate that, Chris. You look at the 34 clubs, organizations, businesses who had booths at the park, and their time that they put in for that. National Beef for sponsoring the Adventure Bay buyout, and the city working with them on that. Then following the day in the park, Fellowship Baptist doing entertainment pregame over at the BJ Field, the Liberal BJ's game, and of course the city and community bank for the fireworks following the game over there. It was a great day for Liberal from 10 in the morning until after 10 at night. So I just wanted to come and say thank you to you guys for helping make that happen, using the facilities and working with staff to help that happen. We had a wrap-up meeting today, and there's interest and plans for 2023. So we're hoping to make this an annual event. We looked at next year, and so we hope we did everything right. We hope we left the park in good shape after it was done. And we just want to say thanks and appreciate you guys for helping us with that. And if there's anything else we need to be doing, we just want to know, to communicate with us. Just let us know if we need to do anything different or better. We learned a lot. This was the first one in almost 100 years on the 4th of July in Liberal, so we want to make it an annual event. So I just want to come say thank you.
So we did talk to Candy and Claudia, which is the ones that we had most contact with, and they did a fabulous job. They were always contacting us, asking us questions, and I told them, you guys did a heck of a job. The park was full of people, you had vendors all over the place, and this was your first time. It's just gonna get bigger and better from there. They did a great job.
Yeah, and it was just, that's how this thing is, just grassroots. People just came out and said, we want to be a part, we want to help. Claudia and Candy jumped on and did a great job. They recruited a lot of those booths and a lot of that entertainment that was happening. They did a great job, and who would have known, you know, but it just took a life of its own. Now we have a committee. Is that what happens? Something does good, you do something, you form a committee. So now we have one, and we plan to move forward with it. So thanks, Brad. Thanks, Chief Cutchell, and the city crew, and all you guys for supporting it, allowing us to use the facilities. And Liberal was beautiful on the 4th of July. And you couldn't ask for a better downtown, a better looking park, and people showing their community pride, putting the floats in. So I know you have other business. I just wanted to come say thank you, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, moving on. The item number 6, the consent agenda. And I think tonight we just have a fairly lengthy list of airport leases.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as printed.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion at all? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you very much. Item number 7. So this is a resolution, number 2378, to rescind resolution 1628, 1695, and 2131.
All right, so Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, these are 2 separate properties with 3 separate condemnation resolutions that were passed. 1011 8th Street had the first resolution passed in 1997. That building was torn down. And 2131 was passed in 2011. That building was also torn down. Resolution 1695 was for the property at 605 Calvert. That was passed in 1999, and that was repaired. And then we never went back and greased up our resolutions. And now, as the mayor mentioned during the comments, that there's some property issues that they need us to rescind these demolition orders or condemnation notices so that the new property owners can move forward with their building and their project. So you guys would approve 2378 tonight. Tomorrow we would get the information over to the county so they can move forward and do what they need to do. You have any questions?
Are these the only properties that have been brought to our attention?
Yes, so far.
But we have more that we will start reviewing.
Yeah,
So.
it is completely reasonable to assume that we have hundreds. So, but Keith and his team are doing a great job of turning over every stone in the building and code department to correct and update items, not just this, but codes, zoning, a holistic overview. So,
I move we adopt resolution 2378.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you very much. Item number 8, resolution number 2379.
So, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna let Mr. Ford talk, but just so everyone understands, all this does is buy us I don't say bias, gives us an additional time to work on the budget. Because if we file this notice, we have until October 1st to publish the budget. And given the review that we're doing, it's prudent that we take this step to give us, instead of having to have it filed by August 25th, it gives us a much deeper review time. So go ahead and explain anything else about that. But we had to put a number in. We put a number in that exceeds the current amount. It's more or less an arbitrary number, but we absolutely can't go over that. So that'd be like a doomsday option.
Commissioners, like the city manager explained, this resolution deals with the formalized intent to levy a property tax exceeding the revenue neutral rate. Back in 2021, the Kansas State Legislature passed removed the tax lid and enacted two separate bills that had to do with the county generating a revenue neutral rate. And essentially that's what we're limited to. And if for some chance there were a change in valuation or whatnot and we exceeded the revenue neutral rate, what we would actually be up against on that is we would have to refund every property owner of the amount of property taxes that they pay that are over our revenue neutral rate. So, I mean, you know, it could be $10 here, $5 here, 20 cents here, or whatnot. And so, anyway, as per state guidelines, the formalized process of revenue neutral rate was determined, and we have July 20th is our deadline to notify the Seward County clerk of our intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate. Now, that doesn't mean that we will exceed the rate, and this certainly does not say that determine what our finalized mill levy rate will be. However, as per state guidelines, this resolution would as city manager explained, would give us, buy us a little more time to determine what our true and actual needs are. And then the formal rate would be determined on, I think I said in there, September 13th for our budget hearing date, at which time we would actually have our formalized revenue neutral rate hearing prior to that. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we'd certainly recommend commission consideration on this resolution.
Just for your own information, this year the mill is valued at $121,685. In 2023, the mill will be valued at $124,793.
Anybody have any questions at all? Comments?
Does the state need to come up with a better system, or is this something that you guys have been able to accommodate well enough?
So this is so much better than the tax lid. You would think, previously it would go by, now, this year the tax lid would have worked out great, because inflation's like 8.5%, but typically it's like 1.3, 1.8, and that limits what you can raise. If you need to raise it, if you went over that, you had to have an election to validate, like the people would have to vote on you raising it. But from our perspective, it grants us and you much more flexibility doing it this way.
Last year was the first year we had to do that. I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2379.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed?
I'm abstaining.
Okay. All right, so passes 4-0 with one abstention. Okay, item number 9, Parks Department mower ARPA request.
Mayor, Commissioners, Bruce couldn't be here tonight, so I'm gonna fill in for him. At the ARPA funding meeting, we talked about purchasing a Hustler mower for the Parks Department, and we're requesting that you approve that purchase so we can go ahead and get it ordered and get it on its way here. It's still gonna be a ways out, and we got two quotes, one from Kansas Golf and Turf and one from Keating Tractor, and Keating was the low quote.
This was the discussion we had about not getting in a position where we had to replace them all at once, right?
Correct.
Make a motion we approve the purchase of a Z104 mower from Keating Tractor for $24,000 using ARPA funds.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? And I'll abstain on this one since my son's the salesman for the lawnmower, so I'll pass on that. Okay, item number 10, Liberal Memorial Library Board reappointment.
All right, so, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Ms. Carol Deering has agreed to serve a second term on the library board to start July of '22 and run through July of '26. So this is just a standard reappointment to the current member of the board.
Make a motion we approve Carrie Dilling for reappointment to the Memorial Library Board from July 22 to July 26.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, and thank you to Mrs. Deering for volunteering for that board again. Item number 11, Police Department.
So you'll remember, we had a work session that went over all these things, and you agreed, or you approved an allocation at the last meeting. This is just the first of what will be several that the chief and the police department will bring to you to confirm or to approve the actual purchases. I told him not to go through each one again unless you have specific questions. If you do have specific questions, or if you want to go through them again, we can. But we've been through it twice. I didn't want to belabor the point for you, but he and his staff are ready and willing.
Maybe just a brief overview so that everybody knows what we're talking about. You don't have to get into a lot of specifics, but just so that everybody can get
Sure.
an understanding what we're doing.
Sure. All right, so number one is a purchase of 2 used unmarked detective vehicles. These vehicles are Ford Fusions, and they are low in mileage, and we will be obtaining them from Foss Ford. The cost of that is $46,000 even.
Yeah, we do.
Well, so you can approve. You can
We
approve.
need
Well-
separate motions for each of the items.
Okay.
Do them as we go through.
Yeah.
I make a motion we approve 2 purchases of 2 Ford Fusions from Foss Ford for a total of $46,000 using ARPA expenditure funds.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, again, briefly, the next one is a case cracker interview system. I need 3 of them for 3 interview rooms. What this is basically it's an interview camera system, recording system. Because the current system is completely out of date and is virtually not working about 99% of the time. These cameras are through case cracker, like I said, and the estimated value, or I'm sorry, the value is $37,910 plus $750 for installation.
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of the 3-room case cracker interview system in the amount of $37,910 using ARPA funds.
Second. Need to add the $750 for installation. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Sorry, Ron.
Oh, that's all right, I was, yep.
Okay, any further discussion or questions? All those in favor? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, the next one is the CALIA accreditation. The accreditation program helps us join basically 12 other police agencies in the state. This is an accreditation process that takes up to 2.5 to 3 years, between 2 and 3 years. The estimated cost of this is, for the initial process, is $11,450.
Make a motion, we approve the CALIA accreditation in the total amount of $11,450 to be taken from ARPA funds.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you.
Next, we have a training simulator. The training simulator is to help us establish extra training throughout the year by using the simulator. Kind of works on the process similar to the goggles and the stuff you see in the stores and so forth. The original simulator, because we get a discount through Kansas, as being the only department in Kansas with this particular item, they're giving us a small break. Usually it's it's over 100,000, but in this case, with everything combined and with the break, they're giving it to us for $67,500.
So this thing looks like an Oculus that you put on, I don't know if you're, Isaiah may not be old enough
Like
to have
the
it.
video game
Yeah,
ones?
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's pretty phenomenal. And I'm gonna send you guys a link for it, but, the really great thing is they can, of their 40-hour mandatory training, they can do 20 of it online, and they can do most of the 20 hours through the system, which not only can save us a little bit of money, but also opens up other training venues for them, to use with their training dollars. So this is probably the best, one of the top 3 purchases on the list, so.
And you said small discount, but
Yeah.
essentially we're getting this for half price.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
theoretically,
That's-
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
pretty big discount.
Yeah.
Small and capital letters.
Yeah.
Make a motion, we approve the Apex training simulator for $67,500 from ARPA funds.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Thank you very much.
Next, we have the purchase of duty firearms. These firearms are SIGs Pete 320s, 9mm handguns. We'll be purchasing 50 of them. Including the holsters and the magazines to go with them. The total amount of repurchase or buybacks for the guns that we have now, they are purchasing those back at $250 each. So we are getting a price break on that as well. So our total price on that is $28,704.
How often do you rotate firearms like these?
Well, I've been here for almost 6 years, and this is the second time we've done it.
What's the optimal life cycle for a firearm?
Let me get my firearm expert.
Normally the police department exchanges weapons approximately every 10 years. When we exchanged from our Gen 3 to Gen 4, at that time we had, never went in for walking out of them because they were so worn out. Currently with the Gen 4s, we have that problem again. The number one pin is walking out. Also, these new pistols will be equipped with a red dot optic, which increases both officer safety and citizens because it's designed to keep both eyes open. You focus on either the threat or the suspect and not that front sight. So that will allow the officers to more easily see if they're armed with a weapon, with a phone, if they don't have anything else in peripheral vision. Also, it's more accurate, especially at a longer distance and under stress. So that's one of the reasons we're going to putting a new handgun.
We're going to a different brand, correct?
And a different
Glock
brand.
to SIG.
We're going to the 6 hour. And the reason is because that's what the officers actually pick.
I'll make a motion that we approve the sidearm purchase in the amount of $37,294.50.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Thank you very much. Last item, chief.
Yep, last item. Last item is a purchase of 35 new tasers. The tasers that we have now are absolutely obsolete. We can't even get replacement parts or anything, can't get replacement batteries or anything. And I believe it's somewhere between 10 and 15 years old. So the new purchase of these 35 new tasers are $91,196.
So that came in a little below the allocation that you made, which I believe was 100 for this, so. They're finding some of the stuff's a little bit lower, some of it may be a little bit higher, but all will stay within what you allocated. But this one was kind of substantial, almost $10,000 less than what you allocated, so.
What's the lifespan on these?
I don't have an answer for you.
Oh, we have a new expert.
My expert's here.
Sergeant Live with the police department. I'm actually our taser instructor, one of them. The current warranty on the taser that they offer is 5 years, and these new tasers come with a 5-year warranty. The old tasers that we used to have, the X2s, are currently out of warranty and have been for about 7 years. We can't have them worked on. They don't, half of them that we have now, the displays don't work. Not totally sure if they're gonna work, and we don't even have enough of them to issue all of our officers right now. But the lifespan, they say, is about 10 years, but with a warranty of 5.
We did have an incident, was it last week, that an officer attempted to use a taser and it failed twice. So this will be a huge asset to the department, and their ability to employ non-lethal force is necessary.
So it's better to get shot with the taser than the SIG, right?
Six cheaper.
Yeah.
We get 50 of those, only 35 a week.
On the front end.
Yeah.
Well, that's-
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of the 35 Taser 7s with the accessories or cartridges in the amount of $91,196.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 12, airport fence repair.
So, these are the exact same bids as last time, just Superior Fence didn't put the barbed wire as an item on the $12,000 bid. So what you got last time is the exact same thing that you get this time, except he's itemized it correctly. So that amount, the $4,000 difference is more than the 10 or 15% we normally grant a local vendor. So unless your recommendation changed, we're still gonna recommend Superior Fence from Dodge.
I noticed that the bid didn't change it at all, he just added that he had that included.
Right. And I did talk to Dave with Proscapes, and he said he would waive the 50%, but he would need paid right away if we went with him, because he puts everything on a credit card, so. And he would like to get that paid off, but yeah, my recommendation is still to go with Superior Fence out of Dodge, so.
I make a motion, we go with Superior Fence from Dodge City to replace the 200 feet section fence at the Louisville Airport for an amount of $12,606. I know where the money's coming from. It's coming from.
Oh, it'll come out of budget and then reimbursed through FAA, through the CARES
Coming out of
money
budget and
that.
being reimbursed by FAA.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thanks, Brian. Item number 13, Willow Tree Golf Course. Darrell.
This one hurt my heart because they were a whole lot cheaper last time we bought.
Mayor, Commissioners, we got some equipment quotes on first a fairway mower. And like city manager was talking, we're hoping for 2 of them, but the industry's changed. So we're looking at one. The first quote we have is from Professional Turf Products, which is our Toro sales or representative for this area. They came in with $64,068.73. The main problem with that is I won't be able to get one until the fall of '23. And they won't hold the price. So more likely I'll have to come back. Kansas Golf and Turf, which is our Jacobson representative, they have a fairway mower and both these fairway mowers are the same size, 82-inch cut. Actually have the same Kubota engine in them on both of them. They came in with $61,223. They can probably deliver one this fall. They don't know if I'll be mowing with it though. It might be late in the fall. Might be pushing snow with it, hopefully. Staff recommends that we go with Kansas Golf and Turf for the Jacobson SLF 530 for $61,223.
Well, Darrell, I hope you're wrong. I hope they don't see snow till January, maybe.
Yeah.
For the community's benefit in mind, can you explain the difference between this mower and the Parks mower? That was for 25.
Night and day. His is a real mower, ours is a rotary mower.
So it's precision of cut and.
Yeah, he's
capacity.
cutting this much off and we're cutting this much off. I mean, it's like a Cadillac and a Volkswagen. You can't use his mower for what we do, and we can't use ours for what he does.
Right, yours would destroy what he's trying to accomplish.
Ours would mow what he's accomplishing because he's mowing this tall. We
Yeah,
can't get ours down that low.
We're down
Just
about,
bend it over a little bit and it'd like it pop back up, right?
we're about 11/16 on fairways. So it kind of, the real mowers can go, like our greens mowers, pushing about 1/8 of an inch. And the rotary mowers can't cut that short, there's no way.
Bid.
The price is actually on there's a picture like this at behind the mowers. And the price is actually listed down below that.
Do you think it would be more than 1,000 to ship?
I wouldn't think so.
So, Commissioners, I'd recommend that the motion be for an amount not to exceed $4,700 to include freight.
And just to clarify on this one, the ARPA allocation that was intended was $70,000 for 2 mowers. The first mower, so basically what we did is we took the 70,000, and we figured what else would fit inside between what we would have after the mower purchase. And this would actually still save a little bit to be returned to the next round of ARPA funds from what that original $70,000 amount was.
I'll make the motion that we approve the purchase of the Woodtech SL90 junior picker for not to exceed $4,700 with ARPA funds.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
And I don't remember Darrell, the whole time I've been on the commission since 2001 off and on, ever buying a picker, so it's gotta be pretty old.
Yeah.
You died as one of the commissions you weren't on?
Yeah, they bought it right before I got there and made it last this long.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Darrell.
Thank you.
Item number 14, requisitions over 10,000.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioners, these next 2 items, A and B, deal with some invoices that we've received from Motorola. The first one, for Liberal Police Department, that amount is actually more than the second amount for communications. And essentially what both items are comprised of, we do have our Spillman program, which is essentially a concentrated information sharing platform between communications, the police department, and the sheriff's office. And accordingly, each entity is billed 1/3 of the total, which is $22,129.08. And where both of these invoices differ, the police department actually has some maintenance on for its Brazos software and for $643, and maintenance for the e-ticket software, which works in conjunction with the municipal court. That amount is $10,482.48. And then on the second invoice for the communications, there's a 911 rapid notification maintenance agreement for $926.89 that only they have. And my understanding of that, it provides an interface between the, I think for county fire and EMS interface, which I know our fire department does work with EMS, so, but anyway, that would explain the differences between the two invoices. But due to the fact that they're each over $10,000, we're bringing to commission for your consideration.
So these are normal budgeted items, correct?
Correct. And I might add on the police department item, there's a chance that the invoice could be less than this. We're working to clarify between the Brazos and the e-ticket maintenance. So if we can get the invoice amount down, we will definitely pursue that. But this is the most that invoice would be.
So in the past, we would just pay this without bringing it to you because it was a budget item. But we're trying to be more transparent. Not that we're hiding anything, but it's just better that you know. You will forget by October what you approved in August for budget items. So, and I don't blame you. We would too. But anyway, so it's just a new way of doing business where we bring everything over 10,000 to you, even if it's budgeted.
Okay, so we need to take these as separate items, right, an A and a B?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the requisition of, for Motorola Solutions, Inc. for Liberal Police Department up to $33,254.34.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you.
And I'll make a motion that we approve the requisition for Motorola Solutions, Inc. for communications in the amount of $23,055.97.
I'll second that one.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for that. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chris. Item number 15, city staff.
I'm gonna set my timer.
I'll be brief. Mayor, Commissioners, I just thought I'd take this opportunity. I've had several inquiries from the public, and I've spoken to a couple of you in casual conversation about how things went over the 4th of July, so I thought this would be a good venue just to give you a quick rundown. For the most part, I thought in the 4 years since we've allowed the fireworks, this would, as smoothly as any of the 4 years. I think people played within the rules better than they ever have before, depending on where you were at in town. I've heard different stories, but as far as staying within the 3rd, 4th, and 5th dates and keeping things fairly calm after midnight, I think this was a successful year. As far as I get a lot of inquiries about fire calls, between us and the Seward County Fire Department, I think we ended up with a total of 13 fire calls, a total of 27 calls over the 3 days, the 3rd, 4th, and the 5th. Oddly enough, we didn't record any fire calls on July 4th. but our last one on the 3rd was 11:45, and our first one on the 5th was at midnight, so they didn't miss it by much. Only a couple of those, and one of my biggest fears on 4th of July in that time is that we have concurrent calls where we have more than one fire going at once, and that happened to us twice. For the most part, they were dumpsters and fences and things like that, so. Total of 13 fire calls. Our fire marshal did have to deal with 2 of the vendors who received complaints that they were selling outside of the hours that they're allowed to sell, and that's state law, so he went and addressed that with them and got that remedied right away. Handled that. So, unless you have any questions, I just wanted to give you the rundown of what we have.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. Brandon?
I got a couple things. Update on the road crossing of Clay Street. They're moving pretty fast. They're working 11 o'clock at night, the rail crew is, and quitting at 11 in the morning, and then the other guys are staying there most of the day. So they're working 24/7 to get this thing accomplished. If they get that done by Thursday, they will try to do Pershing Street Friday and Saturday. I told them, make sure you give me a day's notice so we can get the stuff out to the media, and then they will move to Western Avenue. 15th Street flashers, everybody's seen them, they're up. We did have some vandalism today at Light Park, so if people call and complain the bathrooms are locked, we've told the commission, you tear them up, we'll lock them up. So we're gonna lock them up.
You described the damage for me.
They tore the sink off the wall in the women's bathroom and did some things in the stalls with the toilet paper dispenser type things. So we'll continue to, you tear them up, we'll lock them up. It's sad that we have to do that, but we gotta stop it somehow. The other thing, I got a lot of compliments tonight, and those compliments need to be directed to Bruce and the Parks Department. 'Cause those guys do a phenomenal job on keeping our parks and stuff. And they deserve the credit for all that stuff. And that's all I got.
I'll just say, I been driving around the last couple of days, and it's been brutally hot, and the parks look fantastic. You wouldn't expect them to look that good. As hot as it's been, as much use as they get, that grass could end up looking really, really bad, so it looks fantastic, so. Okay, anybody else? Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioners, as our 2023 budget is underway, one of the things that we do every year is we have our not-for-profit funding requests that essentially the applications were given out at the 1st of June, and they were the collections were finalized at the end of June. And traditionally in the past, we've always set a work session to have a not-for-profit request work session, and was just wondering, for the commission, is there any time over, say, like next week that the commission wouldn't be available, or even the week after that?
So if you can text me, kind of like we usually do, any days you're not available, and then we'll hammer out a work session date. And we'll do it here. We usually do it at the Girl Scout building, but we're partial to this building now, so.
For me, it would be next week, not available. The week after will be a little bit lighter. I just have no openings next week. I'm buried.
And then, so the next item that I have, it's kind of exciting news because COVID kind of set things back, but for several years now, we've been working with the U.S. Immigration Service that has they've partnered with us, with Garden City and Dodge City, to come out and do mobile immigration services, which essentially, the way it's worked before, we've done them at City Hall. One time they might schedule interviews, and those are more privatized, that between the immigration service employee and the person that they're talking with, and those are, you know, more confidential, but they also do biometric service, which includes, you know, like fingerprinting, name, that type of thing. That essentially both of those things are, I guess, elements in the process where people would have to travel to either Wichita or Kansas City when they're pursuing citizenship. And we'd recently heard from their director that they're planning to come out to Liberal towards the end of September, would basically be the week of September 26th through the 29th. And so traditionally, we've done those at City Hall, but because, you know, we've made some changes and whatnot, we're actually proposing this building, because we do have the means to conduct private interviews as well as a large workspace for the biometrics. So just an update for the commission that we are planning to have this event. And the way that this works is they will actually schedule interviews at the services. They'll send the invitations out to the people for appointments. And it's not a walk-up type service, but it's you have to have an appointment and so on ahead of time. But just to let the commission know that we are able to partner with them again. COVID kind of set that back, you know, where we couldn't have those services going, but it's kind of exciting.
That is exciting.
So,
I know that they do like a ceremony in Dodge City. Have they ever mentioned anything like that? Because I mean, I used to teach the class, so I know all about this. And I know you have to go up there like 3 to 4 times. And I know Dodge City does these mobile services, but they also have a ceremony once they're done. Have they ever talked about doing
Well,
anything like that out here?
they actually did have a ceremony
Oh, they
in
did.
Liberal. We held it they held it at the Huron Park building. And, you know, it's been a few years ago, but I don't know that it was very heavily publicized, but, you know, it is exciting just knowing that, hey, we can do our part to help, you know, the process and maybe alleviate some of the traveling that people have to do, which is a big expense. And then, you know, at the same time, they have to worry about childcare and taking time off of work and so on. And I know we pulled in regionally here. I believe that we have people from Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. I think we actually had some people come in from New Mexico. So, but it's kind of exciting news. So, you know, we are looking forward to that. I'm meeting next week with their field director to verify that this building will be a good location.
Thanks, Chris. City manager's report.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank Ms. Isaacson for her work with Yard of the Week. We were able to identify the first winner last week. The mayor and I went, and the newspaper was there. Had a nice photo op. So she's going to do those every 2 weeks roughly, and we're going to get some more signs so we can leave that Yard of the Week sign in her yard for an extended period. But you know, with 334 citations in a month, it's nice to recognize someone who's really going the extra mile to beautify the city. I want to recognize the work that Bruce has done on the pay scale revisions. That is a behemoth project, and we're kind of getting down to the tail end of it now. But we have gone back to a step and grade system, and tomorrow the assistant city manager and I are going to sit down and go person by person through each position and make sure that we have them in the right slot. So by the end of the month, when the second payroll of the month rolls around, we will have all 223 full-time employees slotted in a step and grade, and everyone will understand where they are and where they would be going, as we move forward. You're going to hear me say this a lot, probably during the budget time, but I just want to remind everybody, fiscal responsibility is not about saving money. It's about spending the right amount in the right place at the right time. If those 3 criteria aren't met, then it's not the right expenditure. We can have a $10 million water project and that be the right thing and the right amount, But if we try to do it now, it'd be wrong. It'd be the wrong timing. So it doesn't fit. So as we go through the projects moving forward, and we're still gonna try to take a knee until the fall, once we get Second Street finished, to kind of give everybody time to take their breath. But I know everyone wants to talk about lowering taxes, but fiscal responsibility, as we see with some of our infrastructure and police, not spending the money can cause almost as much damage as overspending the money. So that's another reason we really appreciate you guys passing the R&R resolution to give us additional time to get you much better information so you can make better decisions. And finally, on Friday, we're going to sit down with IMA to discuss the healthcare renewal. Their first estimate is that we're going to save about $150,000 over the current year. So I think that they had estimated much lower than that when they came, so that's pretty exciting. I told Brad that more than pays for my first year's salary, so I'm going to take off till Christmas. Since I've earned my money.
And I told him, I don't think that'll fly.
Wait till I leave the budget done.
Yeah.
That is it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, all right. Number 17, items from commissioners. You want to start?
Yeah, I guess I don't have much to say. I was gonna, thank, the fire department for having to do their extra work that we put on them every year. And their favorite time of year, July 4th, but, and I will agree with Kelly that I noticed this year that people just from work in my house, listening to what's going on, played more within the rules than they had in the past as far as, because I could keep track of the time. I would bring my dogs in and put them in the basement. They're outside dogs, but they were inside dogs for a few hours. And it wasn't that bad because, like I say, they started later in the day popping them, I think. And they really, the curfews, they didn't go way over them like they did. I felt like they did last year. They were way over more than they were this year. And I was really kind of shocked on the 5th that they really didn't get carried away. You hear some around town, but they pretty much got out of their system on the 4th. So I'm kind of glad to see that everybody kind of did it. I'm really happy that we didn't have any major damage anywhere that, because you see all that stuff going off and you think you could, that something like that could happen. It's good to see that we didn't have any really bad things like happen, but that's all I have. I'm glad to see that things went pretty good.
Okay. I guess on that note, I'll go. I think information has been a big part. We've been keeping the times the same, but all our different media outlets kind of got some of that information out there. So I think that's a big help, is making sure everybody knows what they're supposed to do. And if we leave it the same year after year, I think that's a good thing. So then thanks for all that you've done on that. And all the city employees for everything they've done. I mean, just keeping everything maintained. I've noticed a lot of the streets also getting filled. So we just have to keep doing what we're doing, and I appreciate everything everybody does.
I agree with what they said. I think it's been a very positive environment. A lot of people in our community have said nothing about staff and about the new commission, about our new city manager. I do want to say thank you to the fire department, the police department for all your hard work during the holidays. I know there's a lot of families that stay in town just because we allowed fireworks. So not only did it allow families to enjoy the festival and the holiday itself, but I also think it helped our economy just because a lot of them decided to stay and purchase here within our stores, within our restaurants. And then I do see some new faces sitting here today, so I do want to say thank you to everybody who continues coming out, to everybody who tunes in live on our social media pages, and just thank you for the continued support.
Well, I just want to, and he left a little early, but to thank Earl for his efforts in getting the 4th of July celebration going. I know it wasn't just him, but he and his group. Unfortunately, I was out of town, I missed it, but now I just heard so many people talk about it. That it's obviously was a good thing, and hope it continues. Thanks always to staff. Appreciate everything you guys do.
I'd like the mayor to have the last word, so I got two things I
Okay.
forgot. One, they had the city championship this week, and I got a number of compliments on our golf course, so Daryl and his team did a great job prepping that course. And, I've walked through the PD a couple times in the last couple weeks, and they are so appreciative of what you guys are doing for them. You know, the morale it was kind of down here, and now it's definitely ascending. So I'm very appreciative of what you've done for them, and I know that they're extremely appreciative of what you're doing for them.
Number 18 is vouchers.
I'll make a motion, we approve the vouchers in the amount of $1,102,274.41.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, or any discussion, I guess? All right, all those in favor? Okay, thank you very much, and we are adjourned.